You're listening to
Catholic Sprouts,
the daily podcast for Catholic kids that strives to plant seeds of faith. Well, hello, Sprouts. Today is Tuesday, August 14th, 2018. It is also the feast day of St. Maximilian Kolbe. This week on the Catholic Sprouts podcast, we have been talking about our beloved Blessed Mother, Mary. Today, we are going to talk about her becoming the Mother of God, the Mother of Jesus. Now, chances are you've heard the story of the Annunciation before. God sent an angel to Mary to announce that she would conceive a son through the Holy Spirit, and that the son she would bring into the world would be God, and he would lead everyone to salvation. Now, you probably heard that before, but here's what I want you to think about. Mary had a choice. Mary had a choice. She was a young girl. She had plans for her own life. She had no idea that God had intended her to do the work of carrying, giving birth to, and raising a son, even if that son was God. She had no idea. God gave her a choice, and Mary said yes. Mary said yes. She didn't ask questions. She didn't cry. She didn't beg for it not to happen. She said yes. And that is what God needs for us to do his very big, very holy work on this earth. Now, I told you already that today is a feast day. Today is the feast of St. Maximilian Kolbe. Like St. Edith Stein, who we talked about last week, St. Maximilian Kolbe also was killed by the Nazis in World War II. St. Maximilian Kolbe was a priest, and priests were also targeted by the Nazis. But St. Maximilian Kolbe did not have to die. He could have lived in the camp and continued to work and maybe even survived until the end of the war. But one day, the Nazis were going through a group of people, picking out those that were going to be punished with death. They picked out a handful of people, and the last one they picked out was a father of young children. He cried and begged that the Nazi officer would not send him to his death because his children needed him. And Father Maximilian Kolbe volunteered to take his place. It was not something that he needed to do, but it was something that he did out of love. Likewise with Mary, Mary had a choice. And let me tell you, it was not easy to be pregnant. She wasn't even married. And yet Mary said yes out of obedience and love. So here's my challenge for you today, Sprouts. I want you to think about obedience. When your parents, when your teacher, when your older siblings or your friends ask you to do something that you know you ought to do, I want you to say yes. Let's all practice saying yes today. That's it for Catholic Sprouts today. We'll be back tomorrow, but until then, continue to grow in your faith and truly sprout into the beautiful creation that God intended you to be. Just one more thing, Sprouts. If you would like to continue to learn about your amazing Catholic faith at home or in school, I encourage you to download and use a set of free Catholic coloring pages. There's one for each letter of the alphabet, and you'll find them at DoSmallThingsWithLove /coloring.